crap episode probably thought Tilly was hot. I was talking about you thinking Tilly's hot, not me thinking Tilly's hot.
That's not what you just said. For those of you that don't know, Danny and I we usually talk for a few minutes before you go live.
You're
if he's
such
on
a
time.
liar.
And the reason he had me go to the scene, he said, "Oh yeah, boom, perfect."
That's not that's not very Christian. Oh, wait a minute.
That is exactly what you said.
You tricked me. Oh, I get it now. No, it was perfect because you know why it's perfect for what I needed. It's the crisp line at the top.
Yeah, no,
when you had it on the X-Men scene earlier, there was a lot of black.
Yeah,
at the
see,
top of the
I
screen.
put it on what I thought was really cool: Nightcrawler and Wolverine back to back.
It was a cool scene, but it wasn't for what
right.
I
but you said, "Oh yuck," go to something else, and I go to this shot, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
No, I said boom, perfect. But I wasn't even looking at who was in it. I was just looking at the line at the top. Is what I'm showing. Anyway, it's a wise ass. So. Hello, everybody in the chat. Looks like we got Dinner Bells was first. Yes, that was Tilly. Anthony Mark came in. I already chatted with him a little bit before. Stanley's here. Mike Richards is here. 47 Yorktown. Knight 240SX. Ben One Eye. And the Digital Archive of RGV History. Welcome, everybody.
Who thinks this episode was hot?
I'm actually on time, guys. I was here at 6. This is awesome.
It does happen every once in a while. It's kind of like total eclipses of the sun. Just every once in a while, Danny's on time.
Like my uncle used to say, a broken clock is right twice a day. So there's that.
So, yeah. So, there's this
since guy. I'm here on, or go ahead.
Well, no, it's interesting. So this guy made a, you know what a polygraph is, right?
Yeah, lie detector.
Basically, yeah, lie detector. And so he designed a lie detector that had like a robotic arm on it, and if you told a lie, it just slapped you in the face, right?
Hey, if you want my hot take, just read the screen. By the way, when we get to Discovery.
I saw. So you didn't like the X-Men episode, is what you're saying?
No, I said when we get to Discovery. I literally said Discovery.
So anyway, let me finish my story here.
Sorry, yes, I apologize.
This guy made a polygraph with a robotic arm, would slap you in the face if you told a lie.
Oh, that's funny.
And he thought he would test it out, so he put it on the middle of the dinner table, and when everybody sat down for dinner, he asked his son, "Hey, what were you doing today?" And he goes, "Oh, just homework." And then the thing slapped him in the face. And he's like, "It works, awesome." And he's like, "Okay, what were you really doing?" He goes, "I went over to my friend's house." And he goes, "Really? Okay, and what were you doing at your friend's house?" "Well, we were just watching a movie." It slapped him in the face. And he's like, "Come on now, what were you really doing?" And he's like, "We were watching porn." And his wife just chuckled and laughed and said, "Yep, he's your son." And it slapped her in the face.
Oh, so this was a joke with the longest setup ever, and that was supposed to be a punchline you thought would elicit laughter. You poor thing. Are you okay? You got diabetes, right?
I have been and always shall be your friend.
You asshole. It's not going to work.
Ship out of danger.
Yes. No, don't do this.
Yeah, you thought you were as solid as a rock there.
Man, you had me for a minute. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is a setup for a joke. It took me a minute. Just like that setup. But don't quit your day job. That might be good. That might work in church, though. If you ever have to break the ice at like a sermon, you want to kill about.
I don't think that's seconds. A really appropriate church joke.
Oh, fair enough. Well, if you're talking, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about infidelity, if you go on this big tirade about infidelity, it'd be a funny joke.
The joke brings in porn, and
well, you might have to change porn to something else. We were gambling. That's still.
Oh yeah, that's much better.
It's not as bad. It's not. It's something that's in the Bible. There's. But anyway. Stan Lee, is he saying he's drunk? Well, be careful. I typed a lot of dumb shit when I was in a chat drunk. So be careful.
Well,
Bradley Briggs, I am and always will be your friend. And it slapped him in the face.
there you go. See, look.
You
Bam.
liar. See, he just made it funny. There you go.
Oh, wow. You're such a dick. You know,
I was about to be really mean, but you no-sold my question, so I just let it go.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, you know, one of these days what we could do when we don't have any new shows going is have a, since now you're starting to get how to play videos and stuff like that through the EVMux interface.
Yeah.
So we have a day where, you know how you see those like don't laugh challenge, don't, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we have a, you know, like you have to make me laugh or I have to make you cry. And so we each put up a little video and try to get each other.
That could be a fun segment. I could dig that. Yeah, we could do.
All right, so we actually have 3 things on the docket you may not remember, but I don't know if you actually watched the one that Ariel sent us.
Oh, you know what happened? I didn't, but here's why. And I was feeling bad, but then I remembered. I closed the EVMux thing before I got the link.
Before you got the link? Okay.
And I couldn't go back. And I went back, but the private chat was gone, so I couldn't get the link. So, yeah.
All right, well, so we'll kind of skip. But this is it.
Oh, okay.
It's basically, it's a video that someone put together as an advertisement for a con.
We'll set this up for everybody who wasn't here yesterday, please. And for
yesterday's live stream, we were watching a really, really bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's all you got to say.
It was just a really, really bad movie. And Ariel said, "Oh, watch this to cheer you up." And so it's a video.
And what is this? What's the title?
So the something con. It's at the end of it. It's for because it's for a con.
Wasn't it like Gen Con or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It'll be at the end of the video?
It is at the end of the video.
Okay.
And so it's for a con. It's just an ad for a con. And so what they did was they threw together ships from every major franchise into this big old battle. So this one thing opens up a portal, and then you get ships. Some of them I recognize, some of them I don't. So here's a wave of Klingon ships.
Oh, this would be a fun game for Thomas Potts. Is he here?
Thomas would identify everything.
Yeah.
Here's a Star Destroyer. There's like a Borg sphere involved. A few starships.
Oh, that was a Romulan ship a second ago.
Yeah. Romulan ships. There's ships from Stargate. Your favorite. Look, there's the JJ ships because I know that's really your favorite. No, but your favorite franchise. Oh, yeah, there's the thing from Halo. I can't remember what it's called, that giant thing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Mass Effect ships are in there. Trying to see if we can get a shot of your absolute favorite. Oh, there it is.
Are you trying to be a wise ass?
No. Right? Battlestar.
Oh shit! Right in front of me. I'm looking at I'm looking at the little ships out in I'm like, is it hidden or something? Oh yeah, right on.
Yeah, the freaking Battlestar right in your face.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Although one thing I didn't like is that there's a Battlestar, there's a Cylon ship, and there's an Imperial Star Destroyer. And there's several.
Bradley said there was a Farscape. I love Farscape. We got to do that sometime.
There's all these different ships, but none of them launch their fighters. Now I get it that this was an amateur video, basically, and what do you expect? But and there's no dialogue. It's just music and ships running around shooting at each other. And then. Whatever the ship is that created the portal gets destroyed by the Star Destroyer. So that makes the portal close.
Melphis had a question for you. Is the Lex in there?
I didn't see it. So if it was, I didn't catch it. But I'll be honest, I didn't recognize several ships because, like, Lex, I think I'd recognize, but barely, because I never watched the show, but I've seen the ship. There's the Battlestar again for you for an aerial view of it. So then the ships all go their separate ways, and as they leave, you get their
Starcon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see it's all been...
That's cool. Where's
Yeah.
this at?
You look it up on YouTube. Just look up StarCon. You'll find it.
No, I mean,
Oh,
this
I don't
convention.
know. I have no idea. I'm sure it's a real convention. I don't know if it still happens. This video is like 8 years old. So,
It is?
Yeah. So who knows if StarCon
Man,
is...
COVID's happened since then. Yeah.
Right. So who knows if StarCon's still going?
Yeah. 'Cause I tell you what, man, like conventions, I used to, I mean, I've seen conventions just come and go out here in Vegas, man.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, ones that were here for years and they would just disappear, you know?
Yeah. And so, after that, we kind of get a little warp thing. There we go. And so we start getting credits. So the Nova, I don't know what the Nova's from. John Hoffman did that model. The space station, which is the thing that created the portal, by sci-fi-art.com. Well, a lot of people contributed to this. And so the Talon by, I can't quite read that because of the font. The USS Hawking by Mark Kingsworth.
See, that's not to be a dick, but if I was the art director of this project, I would have never let that happen. That's a terrible font to use.
Oh, yeah, this is a horrible font. You can barely make it out.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that in any disrespect. This was all volunteer work.
Right.
Probably somebody didn't know any better, but this is a prime example of bad design. I should show this to JT, actually.
I actually kind of like the windows that they did, for the ships.
Those are fine. The frames are fine.
But the font is horrible, and I think the color for the text, it washes out when there's something bright behind it, so you got to be careful of that, too.
Yeah, so they have a little drop shadow on the font to try to help with that, but it's just not a good, clear font for information like this. That's
right, because something like this, you want to get their name. That's why, like, I usually, if it's something important, I'll usually go the Trek route and put like a bright orange yellow color with a heavy drop shadow behind it.
Yeah.
Because that usually jumps out. Anyway, so that was that. So meanwhile, in the X-verse...
Okay, hold up. So
hot take. So what'd you think of...
Well, let's this is what is it? This is X-Men 97, episode 8, Tolerance's Extinction, part 1, correct?
Of 3, yes.
Part 1 of 3, and that'll be the finale for this season. I thought my hot take, hot damn. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to wait a week and then another week. I just wish I could see the whole thing at once. And I just have this feeling that this arc here, I feel like this is going to be Empire Strikes Back. I think it's going to end with this cliffhanger, make us wait a effing year, where like that's what I think is going to happen. I'm actually excited for that because that's ballsy. But they just announced that they've already been renewed for
season 2 is already written,
right?
Before they even fired the dude.
They've already renewed up to 4 seasons, and there was this article out I was watching that they're looking for somebody because they only have the first 2, and they're kind of getting a little overzealous, I think. But they signed for 4, and they're looking for a new writer. In the article I read, the guy was like, "That's not a good sign." And I'm like, who knows? Like,
the reason they're looking for somebody new is because they fired the guy.
They fired the guy. So that's the
it's
problem
not like
of their own making.
Yeah,
unless it ends up like a James Gunn thing, and they hire him back.
Right, but I would say this: as far as them firing the guy, look, it's one thing. Like James Gunn said some off-color jokes 10 years ago. That's overreaction. This guy had an active gay OnlyFans page while promoting an animated series.
Whoa.
You know,
say that he was what? He was.
That's why he was fired.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he actually, right now, I don't know. Actually, I think it was taken down. He took it down after he got fired. But he had an active OnlyFans page.
Well, I mean, people make a lot of money on that shit.
Yes, but not people who are promoting cartoons.
Yeah, but this is kind of like for adults. It's one of the things you hate
No,
about
you
it.
see, that's the problem. That's the core of the problem. This is not supposed to be for adults.
I had this conversation. I hung out with my hold up. Oh, I wish I could call Burke in on this. I was hanging out with my buddy Burke
Right,
the other
because
day
you
for
just
lunch.
want to have more people to attack me.
No, we were talking about this very subject, and he agrees. He's like, no, man, this show is made for us, for people our age who watched this show in the '90s.
Then they're not gonna. Then it can't last.
Sure, it can.
Really, you think everybody from the '90s is going to watch this?
I think they have a built-in fan base, and then I think that fan base can expand, but it'll be an older audience.
I don't think the fan base. That's the problem. I don't think the fan base can expand if it's not.
Because I think it'll be an even older audience, like people like Old Man Jim from at the comic book shop. Like he might not have watched, the original animated series, but like if his buddy at the comic book shop was like, "Hey man, they did this storyline,
You should never do a show that only
it's
appeals
really
to
dope,"
older.
and then he would probably check it out.
You know what? Honestly, then don't do a freaking cartoon, especially a cartoon.
Well, cartoons are way cheaper, to do.
But you know what? It's done in the same style as the old X-Men show.
But but if you hold them, and I was saying the same thing too, but are they really hold them up side by side? And it's kind of jarring. It's just that I think.
Well, this one is on a widescreen format. Obviously, it's drawn using computers instead of hand drawn. So there are some differences, but it's the same general style. It's still the hand-drawn style of animation.
I agree.
The character designs look very similar, and wherever possible, they have the same effing voice actors.
Just like you and me, and the voice actors, we've all grown up a little.
But the problem is,
so why not let the show grow up with us?
Because this is what killed the comic book industry in the first place.
No, what killed the comic book industry is the woke shit.
No, the woke. No, look, the woke stuff.
They were woke.
Hold on. Let me say something.
No, that gay wedding thing that happened like 10 years ago. That was before the woke movement. That was before the whites. The Marvel woke comics were woke before woke was a fucking.
The woke stuff didn't kill comics. The desperation was after the industry was dying, they started putting the woke stuff out to try and expand their audience. They forgot that the way to expand the audience is to make it appropriate for people that would be interested in this kind of medium.
Ben One Eye's on my side. He says he fails to see the problem.
Well, that's fine. I don't care if you're going to only highlight people that are on your side. That's fine. But I'm just saying the woke problem is not what killed the industry. What killed the industry was that the industry decided we need to grow up, but their audience was still kids. And so what happened? The kids went on to other things.
Ding, 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 ding. That's why they call us nerd fights, right. Man. Like, we can disagree.
But the kids went on to other things because comic books were no longer for kids. Why would kids buy comics today?
I tell you what, a good point there is my son reads Sonic the Hedgehog. He's been reading Sonic. I've been buying this book since the title's been out, and I think it's the only one left in my pull box because I quit collecting comics when mine were stolen, and he still reads it, but and I'll check in. We'll read. I don't read all of them with him, but I'll read every like 5 or 6,
Right.
He's got a ton of them, and we still get the new ones, and it's still the same. So I kind of get what you're saying. Like, even though he's growing up, he started reading these when he was like 8. He's about to be 18 in a couple days, so a good long time. So I get that. But most of the comic books you're talking about are like the mainstream, because I think IGN puts out Sonic. I don't think it's not like Marvel or DC.
I don't know what company puts it out. But I don't think it's one of the big two.
But anyway,
but you think about like comic books.
I'd say the bigger ones did what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, I'm mainly talking about because Marvel and DC are 90% of the industry. Right? Everybody. There's Marvel and DC. Then you have Dark Horse, which is
I'd say Image is probably number 3.
Well, I'm just saying, like you have Image, Dark Horse, those kind of comic books are at a completely different level than Marvel and DC. That you're comparing Morgan Stanley with Fred's Bank, right? So it's just a whole magnitude difference. And then you have all the indie comics, which
Boom and stuff like that,
right? But with Marvel and DC, when they started making their move to make things more and more graphic, it's not look, I get it that they're like trying to appeal to people as they grow older, but at the same time, I think that comic book heroes are supposed to be heroic. And that kind of went by the wayside as hero characters became darker and darker and moody and troubled and haunted and all that. And we're no longer dealing with heroes. Villains are supposed to be evil, but the villains are now more just people who are misunderstood. And or are similar to the heroes, except they have slight ideological differences or are conservative, which is a thing nowadays.
Okay, it's IDW, Melphis. I said IGN. It wasn't IGN, and it's not Archie Comics. It's IDW.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is I love my comic shop. They went digital a few years back, and so through the app and in my email, I can click on my pull box and I can just pull up basically the covers of the comic and stuff like that. So that's what I did there. Technology,
right? So I just I would like. And honestly, I think that's part of the problem that we look at the MCU. The MCU, the first several phases of the MCU up to Infinity War, felt very much like Marvel Comics from the late 70s, early 80s. Post Infinity War, it felt more like Marvel Comics from the late 90s. And why? Because it was the storylines were trying to be more mature with their stories. They were also trying to be more inclusive with everybody. They were trying to make sure that we have more and more and more women in power and stuff like that. And that became more important than just telling great stories with good heroes and evil villains. And that killed it. I think that's absolutely devastated the MCU. And unfortunately, hopefully they're going to turn it around, starting with Deadpool, and rein it back in and start making heroes and villains again. Because if they don't, the whole thing's just going to implode.
Speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, if you go to supportsalty.com, you can see an exclusive video. Won't be exclusive for long, but for now it's exclusive to his Patreon page, where we're reacting in real time to the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, the long one that just dropped recently. Yeah. So check it out on supportsalty.com.
Anyway, so back to the adult X-Men. Storm just finished Bone and Forge, and now they're watching the news. And
isn't this the recap? That's that's where Rogue murders somebody. Yeah, Rogue went rogue. There you go.
Yeah, Rogue went rogue. Yes, and so.
Oh, did you notice that At the end, they added back Professor X. At the very end, though, not in the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know what's interesting though is in this charge scene, Storm is still wearing her white outfit, even though they switched her to the black outfit in the series. And of course, Gambit
Still got a mohawk there too.
Yeah, and Gambit is there,
Yeah.
even though he's dead. So
Yeah.
supposedly,
I don't know.
So-
I think the deaths are going to stick. I think Madeline's dead.
I don't.
What
Especially
about
since
what about Madeline? You think she?
I think Madeline will come back.
You do? No, I think I think she's gone for sure.
No, I think that the problem is that Marvel has a horrible track record with death.
I think Madeline is one that they could get away with keeping dead because it's a clone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think they can do that with Remy.
Well, he's not a clone, but yeah. So,
But you know what I'm saying. He's a popular
yeah.
character.
yeah.
You know. Now, maybe if they killed Cyclops, people wouldn't care. Even though Cyclops is actually a really cool character, he's never been given justice. But yeah.
That's a good point, Bradley Briggs. But I also think technology had a lot to do with that.
Little baby Nathan is outside playing with his toy. Now, help me out here. Does Cable actually have any powers?
Yeah, ish. I mean, he's like kind of like.
I mean, he has future tech.
He's not exactly a cyborg, but he's got that.
Well, he's got a robot arm, but I'm just.
So I guess technically he's a cyborg. Enhanced strength. He's got tech. I mean,
But he's not a mutant.
I don't think. Well, I mean, he is, and we just don't know what. He's the son of Madeline and Cyclops.
That doesn't
Scott Summers.
guarantee he's a mutant. He could still be a human.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get Rob Liefeld on the phone.
I'm genuinely curious because you've read a lot more of the later stuff than me. So I've never seen him exhibit any powers. He just has guns from the future.
Yeah, that would be. He's got at the very least he's got telepathy.
Does he?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got telepathy. I'm trying to think.
I mean, he's got
telepathy and telekinesis in the comics, and they've shown at least I'm trying to think if he's done anything with a gun yet, but I know he's done telepathy just in the TV show.
No, the TV show they've shown Madeline and Jean.
You got to remember, Cable's in several episodes in the original animated series. I mean, there was a whole Days of Future Past.
Right, but did they get into the fact that's Cyclops?
No. But I mean, I'll have to go back. There's something where he references, reading somebody's mind or something.
Right.
I'm fairly certain.
All right, so
Bradley says that he uses his powers to slow down and fight the nanovirus that he has.
Okay,
to keep it from turning him into living tech like these guys in this episode.
The Nimrods.
The Nimrods. I forget what they're called.
There's some kind of sentinels. So they're sitting around trying to figure out what to do. He kind of explains that in the future, all these bio sentinels enslave the mutants that survive.
I love the way he frames it, though, where he says Xavier's dream finally came true.
Right.
Where it's like humans and mutants live together in peace. It's just the mutants are slaves. But I thought it was funny how it was framed.
Right.
That was,
Well, and because you see, and this is where I'm gonna break bad for a second. Spoiler alert. I enjoyed the episode, but I don't like where I think the series is going.
Ooh, I can't wait to talk to you about it when we get to the end then.
Yeah. And I've never read these later stories in X-Men so that this is all based on, which is another big problem because it's like they just keep adding more stuff.
No, so instead of because I've been rewatching some stuff trying to see it from your point of view, that and I really these are really easily digestible. They're less than 30 minutes and I can have it on in the background because I've seen them all several times now. Except for this last one. I've only watched this last one twice. And I don't know, they're basically they're picking and choosing what they want from different storylines and making a new storyline with it. You know what I mean? It's kind of what they're doing. So I don't think I can necessarily predict. I don't think people who've read the comics will be able to know exactly what's going to happen because they've already changed so many different little things here and there that they've done a good enough job explaining. Like you're like, I don't even know who Bastion is. Hey, they didn't want you to until the next episode when they finally told you who the hell he was. You know, when Jean goes and all that stuff. So I think that
okay, and then it gets on CNN, well, Fox News or whatever, FC News.
FC News.
Yeah. That all of a sudden, scandal exposed, mutant leader alive and ruling over alien empire. How did they get this footage?
Oh, it's Bastion. Bastion leaked it to him easily. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Don't you think it would be like bigger news that there's an alien empire?
Yeah, look at this. Melphis dropping some Gene Reed's Cable's Mine in the original show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Brian's in the house. Hi,
hey, Brian.
Everybody. Hey, Brian, welcome.
So, but don't you think it would be a bigger news story that there is an alien empire?
Well, they already know about it, don't they, or no? Because this is a world with mutants, man. Like, you know,
I know this is a world with mutants.
This ain't in our world. You know what I mean? This could be, I feel like because of all the shit with the X-Men, they already know that there's other stuff out there. They had the whole asteroid thing with this world knows about alien empires. You need to go back and rewatch the first X-Men show, I think.
I don't know. I think that this is a bit
yeah, Ben One Eye says it perfect right here. Like there haven't been half a dozen alien empires already throughout this show.
Come on. Don't think there have been.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so then
that's what you get for thinking.
We get whatever. So we get our obligatory rich people bad scene. So Jubilee can, say, "Oh, we're going to go shopping."
Retail therapy.
Yeah, which
that's a thing.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it's so funny because she's acting out. The scene is basically showing rich people bad, but then she's like, "Let's use your trust fund to buy me a bunch of stuff."
Hey, I like her new outfit. I hope she sticks with that. It's basically like a cat suit, like Catwoman, and then her jacket over it.
Right.
So more adult look, as she's getting older.
Yeah, because everything has to be more adult. Awesome.
She's just getting older. She's not the same teenager they found in '92. She's 5 years older now. She's going to be 6 years older.
Dude, this takes place right after the last episode.
In that last episode,
it's not like
she the passage of time. She's just the character's also getting older. It's not going to be a teenager forever.
Why?
It's not the fucking Simpsons, man.
Hey, dude, in the comic books, Franklin was an infant for like 20 years in the Fantastic Four. So there's no reason she has to age.
Okay. I guess that's a somewhat fair point.
Yeah. Anyway, so, they're talking about how Rogue is unconscious and Jean
Brian's
feels
being
guilty.
a real smart ass here. He says we need a Discovery X-Men 97 crossover.
Agreed.
That's what we're giving you today, buddy.
And so, by the way, I will say I liked Nightcrawler in this scene a lot better than I liked him in the previous episodes. So
yeah,
he felt a lot more like Nightcrawler to me.
Okay.
And so, then of course we see it's Mr. Sinister is behind everything.
Didn't I call this bitch being a bad guy, a double agent? Didn't I call that? I feel like I called that.
Yeah, but then she betrays him, so she's breaking good.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But then Magneto's Breaking Bad. Everybody's just you see, that's the problem with the way they get so messy with good and evil.
Oh, I can't. Yeah. Okay. Let's go in
And-
order. Let's go in order. You're right.
Right.
Let's not jump ahead.
Yeah, but so Mr. Sinister, she notices his Nazi tattoo.
And I love the speech she gives him where she says it was like deja vu, because seeing that tattoo is what made her, as you put it, break good.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that, and and then she immediately related it to the attack on Geonosia, right?
Right.
And yeah, because she uses a line like it was like deja vu all over again or something. I was like, damn, this is actually a good little monologue from this character. And I mean, we don't see her die, but we assume like he kills her, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So then Jean, Cyclops, and Cable are checking out what's his name's home.
And what's with not Rogue? Sorry. What's with Marvel Girl, Jean Grey? What's with her ponytail? She thinks she's Madeline all of a sudden.
I guess so. And then all of a sudden, there's a nice little Nimrod shot. So we find out that what's his name again? Sebastian?
Yes, Sebastian.
So when Sebastian
but that's why he goes by Bastion when he's older. But when he's a kid, they're calling him Sebastian.
I don't know what he's called. I've never read a comic book with him in it.
Okay.
So not Nimrod. Basically, we find out he was born as a Sentinel. I mean, he basically had his.
Yeah, they show it.
His dad was infected with the technovirus before he was conceived.
Yeah.
So he was actually a natural born Sentinel.
Yeah. There
and so he wants to make lots and lots more organic Sentinels
he just doesn't want to be alone in the universe.
He wants
to have friends and family.
He wants to eliminate all the mutants. And then he has a chat with Dr. Doom and Baron Zemo and whoever this chick is.
Yeah. Dude, we get all kinds of cameos in this. Like one that made me scream like a little girl's at the end. I'm sure you know which one that was.
Well, there's Spider-Man and Silver Samurai.
Spider-Man was the one that got me, dude. Yeah.
Okay. The one that got me was Dr. Doom, actually.
Really? See? Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
But he didn't sound good, but he looked like Dr. Doom, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so then they start dipping rednecks with mullets into the tank to turn them into.
These are all the people. What's the name of that group again that attacked the Capitol? Not in real life, in the X-Men comics.
I was going to say the Proud Boys.
No.
They were kind of rednecky, so good.
No, why can't I remember? They were from the original series too. Why am I blanking on them?
Friends of Humanity.
Thank you, Friends of Humanity. I think it's those guys here, right? I think they're volunteering because he's talking about how they are. He's monologuing over this montage, and he's talking about how they want to do this. They're basically volunteering for this, so it's got to be those guys.
I understand, but they're obviously rednecks
or wrestlers. Man, that was a mean wrestling mullet. That was a good,
And so,
they're even all dressed like wrestlers already. That's what they're going for.
Oh, they're just wearing underwear.
Exactly. Yeah,
so what, you think anybody walking around in their underwear is a wrestler?
No. Never mind. Just carry on.
What do you like, going to Victoria's Secret and start tackling all the mannequins in there?
Not at all. No, in fact, actually, I couldn't even tell you the last time I saw a Victoria's Secret store. I don't really get out to shop much, but I get my first paycheck tomorrow. Excited for that shit.
And he'll have it spent by the end of the day.
No. I've been very responsible. In fact, we didn't do our normal, even though I was on time, bullshitting, catching up. Hey, how are you doing? What did you go through? Blah, blah, blah. I did a very adult thing today with money I've been saving, and I had to buy 4 new tires for my car. I got that done today. So I adulted today, and I was
I'm happy for you.
proud of myself.
So Sebastian's mom starts having convulsions.
Well, she's telling him about some of this stuff too, and then they all start to turn at the same time.
Right.
And
Meanwhile, there's Jubilee in her new outfit that you like so much.
well, I'm just saying it's more grown up. She should stick with that. I don't know if she's gonna. But,
I don't know what you're thinking about.
She puts her coat on over it, you know. And
I know, but I just don't know why
you still tell it's her.
I just don't know why you think making everything more grown up is a good thing.
Because this is clearly okay. It goes back to my conversation with my buddy Burke. It's all good. Don't worry about it. We don't got to get into it.
Not Burke.
Yeah, I know. You just.
Anyway, so then, and Beast, when he scans using Cerebro, freaks out because they realize there's, probably thousands of these guys.
So, Melphis, I said that on one of the previous streams, and Salty, you didn't like that idea, right?
Well, no, because I don't care for Apocalypse. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in Apocalypse and Xavier's sister.
Cassandra Nova's the one that in the comics. So this thing that they're kind of mixing some stuff. So, you know what? Never mind.
No, I do know
the thing Magneto does at the end,
right? Which is from another storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just throwing more and more crap on the fire. We need to start resolving storylines instead of just adding them.
Well, it's not the whole storylines. It's just elements. Like they just don't give the whole backstory on how all of a sudden Magneto's can do what he does at the end. Because if you think about it, anybody on let's just say life support, they're all dead. I mean, he wiped out the power on the entire planet.
Right.
So that's going to cause some huge backlash.
Every airplane went down.
Oh shit! Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So and last time they saw Magneto, what was he doing? He was leader of the X-Men.
Right.
So I think the fit's going to hit the shan in the next episode. I'm so excited. That's why I think it's going to be like an Empire Strikes Back thing. I think.
I don't. I think that they're going to hit a magic reset button. I think that Cable's going to time travel and somehow prevent all this from happening.
No, because they go out of their way in this episode to bring up Carmartage and talk about how it's a fixed point in time. That's why
right. All the more reason why they'll figure out a way to do it.
Man, you have no faith in this, do you?
No, I do not. But I mean, come on, it's almost a universal. This is true. It's a universal rule in writing that as soon as you say something is impossible, it means that's what you need to do.
So, Planet X. Actually,
no, we haven't gotten to Discovery.
Yeah, we do Discovery second. So we're gonna do this, have a little ad break, and then get on Discovery.
So that we find, and I will admit, this was really, really ominous when all these random people just start turning into Sentinels, and just kicking all sorts of butt on the X-Men. In fact,
now when they're activated, are they like basically dead? Like there's no coming back from this?
They weren't really clear what happens after they
because I know they got Trask like in a back to tank basically,
right? No, but they're not clear.
Okay,
we don't know what's going to happen to them after it, and so and of course what's going to happen since these two swords happen to be on the ground near where Nightcrawler landed.
Oh yeah.
Although Nightcrawler, let's be real, Nightcrawler would be dead considering Juggernaut fell on him. Dude, did you not see how big Juggernaut is in this?
Yeah, but
he's not I'm the Juggernaut, bitch Juggernaut. He's the Juggernaut from Deadpool 2 Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's huge.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, big dude.
Look at the size of his arm.
Yeah.
His arm is bigger than an elephant's leg.
It's a good visual there. Thank you. Yes, that's a big damn arm.
And then bam! Nightcrawler is dead. dead.
He's not human. He's a mutant. He's
Nightcrawler is not.
He's a resilient little bugger. He like in that episode where they had, like with the attack from the Sentinels. He almost died.
Superhuman.
Where Rogue couldn't touch him. You know.
Yeah. Superhuman endurance is not one of Nightcrawler's ability. He also does not have a healing factor. He's basically, his strength and endurance is that of a normal human.
You know, I love this. Just shows you like how much of like a nerd you are. I love it, and like how much that shit matters.
You know what?
To you.
Nightcrawler was one of my absolute favorite characters.
Most people are not thinking about this shit, which is funny.
Yes, I know, but that would be like if you had the original Enterprise and you had the Romulan bird of prey fire 17 plasma torpedoes at it, and it shook it off like it was nothing. You'd be like, no. You know, one of those plasma torpedoes would have disabled the ship. Two would have destroyed them.
Well, what do we... Yeah, there's the shot I was talking about. So, yeah, it's kind of like a mix between Jubilee and Catwoman or whatever, but that probably won't stick with it.
You just like it because you think she's hot. Because you're a weirdo.
It's animated... No. I mean...
No, you're a weirdo.
I'm not one of those, man. You know, actually, it's kind of funny. I've changed. I've changed quite a bit. It's like some of the stuff I said yesterday, I couldn't believe was coming out of my mouth. To be honest with you, but like that's genuinely, honestly, truly how I felt when I said all those things. You know, so it's weird.
So Jubilee and Sunspot are trying to get out of trouble, and then. But then now we get Wolverine being very Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
He is more Wolverine in this scene than Hugh Jackman ever was. So
I don't know, man. In the movie The Wolverine, Hugh Jackman
I liked The Wolverine.
Gets his Wolverine on in that movie.
No, but you see, but this Wolverine is short and ugly. And being...
Well, that's not Hugh Jackman's fault. Come on, man.
Well, it's not, but it's the casting director from X-Men's fault.
Yeah, Mike Richards has got it right here. He says, no weirdo shame.
Hey, I'll shame weirdos all I want. You know, if you get turned on by cartoon chicks.
Firing shots at me.
No, that's true. He's not.
He's kind of defending
he probably
me
thought
while firing shots at me.
He probably thought Bastion's mom was pretty hot.
And yes, Aravic, this is a badass shot of Wolverine. Like very good pause here.
Yeah.
In fact, hold up. I'm gonna grab this one. Yeah, that's better than the Tilly one.
Oh, come on. You said that Tilly was perfect.
Boom. No, this one's perfect. Put it in the Photoshop here.
This almost looks like Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine when they were jumping into that portal.
If Wolverine would have had his claws out, remember that was what I was saying. I was like, he needed his claws out for that.
So, yeah. So then Wolverine just starts slicing people left and right. Now, I will give them this much as far as the adultifying of the show. Is in the original cartoon, they never could have shown Wolverine actually cutting these people into pieces, even though they're robots.
Yeah.
But they're robots that look human enough to where that would have been too graphic.
Yeah.
And
they were just people in like previous scenes, episodes or whatever. Ooh, gosh, look at that. Was awesome.
Well,
yeah, notice that the blood is blue, so it's not. It's like it's not. But we can get around the sensors. It's not blood. It's a transmission fluid.
And then we get Nightcrawler saying, you know, when Wolverine's I got 6 reasons, and Wolverine's like, no, we have 9.
Or Nightcrawler, rather.
Which I thought was cool because Nightcrawler in the comics does use swords every now and then.
Yeah, you even brought that up in one of the previous reviews we did. Yeah.
And so
back to back. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, this is the shot that you didn't like.
This is a lot of good. It's because, first of all, I wasn't even looking at the context of the shot. I was looking at that top line where the video ends, and this is more difficult to see than that other one.
Yeah, this fight with Wolverine and Nightcrawler against the Sentinels was my favorite part of the episode.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love watching them. They were just slicing and dicing, trying to protect Rogue, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine had his
Look at that.
claws, Nightcrawler with the swords, and then Nightcrawler started teleporting them away, which is something that Nightcrawler likes in the comic books. If Nightcrawler teleports you, then it's extremely draining to you. It's like just physically exhausting. And so that is actually a very effective way to attack somebody, is for him to teleport them away. And I remember when they first fought Nimrod, Nightcrawler attempted to teleport like Nimrod's leg away from Nimrod, and that backfired on him. So then, of course, Jubilee finds out that Sunspot can fly, apparently, although was that a thing? Because in the early issues of New Mutants, Roberto
Yeah,
could not
I
fly.
wasn't. Yeah, we've had this. I wasn't a New Mutants guy.
Okay, yeah, because in the New Mutants comics, I don't remember Sunspot flying. Cannonball could fly, but then, and it seems almost like they merged Sunspot and Cannonball, because he said that he hasn't quite figured out turning, and that was one of Cannonball's weaknesses, is that he could fly very fast, but he just plowed into things because he couldn't turn. But Cannonball's other power, besides flight, was that he was invulnerable only while he was flying. That's why he was called Cannonball.
Ah.
And I thought that was kind of a cool idea. Another very ominous shot of the Sentinels as they're taking down the Blackbird. These Sentinels are downright scary in this. I mean,
Basically zombies, man.
Yeah, they did that incredibly well. So, I mean, props to the creative team as far as that's concerned. I think this was one of their best animated villains the X-Men series ever got.
Yeah. Creepy.
And
this is beat up. That part you just kind of skip through it, but this part here.
Yeah, so they show up at the party, and they're like, oh no, they're trying to kill us, and then the Sentinels show up. We're not here to kill mutants, we want to help them.
Even though we just watched them kill a bunch of mutants. But
yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
And so then Roberto's mom's like, yeah, go with them. And so they apprehend Jubilee and
and she's probably
Roberto.
haven't done it. Yeah, they haven't done it yet, but she's probably gonna just completely. Oh, we had no idea. We were, blah blah blah. Just throw their son under the bus, because that's what rich assholes do.
Then we see Bastion looking at the burning remains of the Xavier mansion. Some stuff from Mr. Sinister is calling him. There's
she gives a really good. She gives a good monologue here.
Yeah, but it doesn't look good for her.
No. This is where she's taught. Yeah.
So then Magneto goes to the North Pole.
Yeah, she's basically narrating all. There's Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the power goes out everywhere. There's Silver Samurai. Oh yeah, and that's Omega Red. And then we go back to.
And then Wolverine's X-Men. Like, he's like, Magneto just declared war, and he knows it's on. It's
and that's not good. So then Xavier shows up and he said, well, I hope I'm not too late.
You're exactly too late.
Somebody should have punched him in the face when he said that. And then he summons the X-Men to be continued. So, what do you think?
Don't have a discovery still here while we're talking about X-Men, please, if you don't mind. You should have end with the Professor X, because that's pretty much the last shot. Anyway, I like this episode a lot. I love that Magneto finally was like, because I would have liked it to be a little longer. It was pretty pretty short-lived, his stint as a good guy, so to speak, as the leader of the X-Men. I think we
Right.
could have got a lot more out of that before they were just in such a rush to get to, pull a bunch of epic moments from the comic book, I think, and put him in. Which, and I hate when they are in a rush to do stuff like that. Look at Spider-Man 3 as a prime example of them, trying to rush things. A slow burn
Or
is
look
good
at the
sometimes.
DCEU. That's what I see here. Is shades of the DCEU where they're trying to do the greatest hits of everything from the X-Men in the first season.
So
and
that
if you do that,
set,
what are you going to do in season 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6?
Which is kind of what that article was talking about. But
yeah.
That said, I fucking love it. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I can't wait. This episode does exactly what TV shows are supposed to do. I can't wait to watch the next episode. I can't. I'm going to probably watch this episode here at least 5-6 more times before the next one comes out. I love it. I'm loving everything about it. And I can't wait to see like who takes Magneto's side. Like, I think we're about to see a huge shakeup of the X-Men. Or maybe all the X-Men, and that's why maybe all of next season will be the X-Men and the Avengers crossover versus thing. I think that would be dope. So I'm excited. I loved it. Like,
see, I'm decidedly mixed on it. Some of the story elements that we're having here is exactly what I think went wrong with comic books. Because let's be real, in the way they wrote this story, Magneto is right.
Yeah, and that's the last words of that chick, and she's
right.
It's a cool shot too. She's like,
but I don't like that. I don't want to have the best alternative.
Have you met? Okay, I know this isn't exactly the real world, but have you met humans?
Dude, it's not about being realistic.
I really wish I could play that clip of Agent Smith where he's talking about how humans are like a virus. You know what I mean? I wish we could play that clip because it is only the older I get, the more spot on Agent Smith was with that.
I know you haven't bothered to watch my Last Jedi review.
Not yet.
But this was a tangent I went on pretty heavily during when I talked about Rian Johnson's attitude towards Luke in particular, but the fallen heroes, and that is that modern artists think that heroes need to have a dark streak, that heroes need to be anti-heroes. And that, and so that's why Magneto is right. That's why we're probably going to, with...
and Ben, there are two types of people on Earth. Ones that think like that and you. So I totally respect it. But I have no hope in humanity. I think we're terrible. I think Magneto is right.
Well, I think...
That's probably why I like it. You know what I mean? So there's that.
But here's the problem. Okay, I would agree with you that I think human nature is... if left to his own devices, I think man breaks.
I'm going to quote Chris Rock real quick. When's the last time you saw a Native American family eating in a Red Lobster? When's the last time?
I
Never, because it don't effing happen. Because we killed all the Native Americans, most of them. Because that's what humans do. We're terrible. We're awful.
I'm not defending humanity. I'm not a humanist. All right, I'm not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to text you, Amanda. But I was on time today, so there's that.
Yeah, so I am not a humanist. I'm not saying humans are all basically good. I agree that humans deep down, you need to be taught to be good moral people, and our natural inclination is to be evil.
I do think, however, there are a rare few who are the opposite, and those are the few that we rely on to teach people to be good.
I don't. I don't think that anybody is inherently good. I think that people that realize and this, we get into the spiritual stuff as far as getting,
or you could even look at the steps. I mean, if you live your life you have to work some kind of system to be a good person. I
but
get
you're
what
not
you're
just
saying.
naturally good. People are not naturally good. That's
Okay.
my premise number one.
Okay.
Premise number two is that one of the reasons that it feels like people are worse today. Yeah, that's true. Who can afford Red Lobster anymore? One of the reasons that people are worse today than they were 20, 30, 40 years ago, let alone 50, 100, 200 years ago, is because we are taking goodness out of everything wherever we can. And this is a prime example of that, is that now we're making the bad guy right. And so him causing the death of who knows how many thousands or even millions of people by shutting down the power of the entire planet all at once was the right thing to do.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I've already said there's too many of us. And I would still say that if I was one of those people on life support. You got to take one for the team sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't know. But no? Am I alone there? Okay.
What happened to love thy neighbor? What happened to, and thank you, Captain. But yeah, you need to, you need to be taught to be good. And one of the things that helps teach people to be good is heroes, having heroic, good characters.
I tell you what, amen. Captain Kirk was my childhood hero. I think
right. But you know what? If Captain Kirk were were today, he would be more like some tortured individual that was
right.
He would be he would be a horrible person.
That's why you're starting to sound like Gary from Nerdrotic. Because I'm having deja vu. Because he was talking about like how there are the rare exceptions to like
right, but I don't have a vendetta against CBS unlike Gary. I just my issue isn't that CBS went woke. My problem is that as a society we are embracing the dark side.
Hey, I think Elvis is onto something here. Read that comment.
Yeah, well, you know what social media did? Social media is an interesting experiment. I don't think it made people any worse. I think it allowed people to express themselves as they really feel. Because, if you get on X or you get on Facebook or whatever your social media, Instagram, whatever your social media of choice is, you can create an account, call yourself whatever you want, put whatever you want for your avatar, and post whatever you want. So you can say the most vile things that humans have ever put out there because there's no repercussions. And so what do people do? They spit poison. That's all they do.
How do you police that? I mean, we're kind of getting off on a sidetrack here. This is an interesting conversation.
I don't think you
maybe to be had another time.
It's we're on it because that's how this episode ends. And heck, Discovery's been full of this kind of stuff. But you can't. I don't think policing it is the answer. You can't force people to be righteous.
Let me explain this really quick. Mm-hmm. So Broken Birds is asking, how come I don't see any other comments but mine and Penny? That's odd. I'm a subscriber. Yeah, so we're multicasting this.
Yeah, it's a dual stream. You want to be on mine if you want to be in the conversation.
If you want to be in the I'll put the link in there and you can hop over there. That's where everybody's chatting at. So, and here you go. There's the link. All
right. So I don't think policing it is the answer. Because you can't force someone to be righteous, right?
Well, I'm just saying, so what do you do? Maybe policing's not the right word, but what do you do about it? How do you put a check and balance on something like that?
And this is where Hollywood needs to take some blame. The way you fix it is by bringing heroes back, by making goodness the thing to look up to, not evil or ambivalence. And Hollywood, Hollywood actively tries to manipulate people, and they're very good at it.
Like, you don't have Superman break Zod's neck.
Right. I mean, look, I didn't, if you could make 1,000 reasons why Superman was completely justified in snapping Zod's neck, given the circumstances. But guess what? It's a fictional world. You could have changed the circumstances so he didn't have to snap his neck.
Right.
Yeah. So even though when Superman snapped Zod's neck, and I love the way you said that, because that's the perfect answer. You make Superman doesn't snap Zod's neck. That makes Man of Steel a better movie.
Yeah.
Even though it was totally justified, I don't sit there and say Superman was evil because he snapped his neck, but you write it in so that he doesn't have to do that. You make it so that Superman can be a symbol of truth, justice, and the American way, and not be ashamed to say it.
Or as they try to in the movies, of hope. I mean, don't you want to think there's hope? Like, I think somebody who's an everlasting Boy Scout, like, man, we're really getting on a sidetrack here.
Right, but Superman is supposed to be the one character that every other character looks up to.
No, exactly. So he should go out of his way to never, I'm agreeing. I'm just saying, let's finish this, because I want to get to, I'm hoping you could play whichever Criticalist ad you want to play while I use the bathroom, and you could talk about them after your final thoughts.
Where are the Criticalist ads? Are they in
they're in the layers and media under media. There's 3 of them there. The one that's already sized is that you guys are seeing how the sausage is made. But basically, I'm just saying, like, I want to hurry up and finish this segment because I got to pee really bad, and I was going to sneak off while you did that. So anyway, now it's not sneaking off because I just told everybody. But there's that.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, sorry. As Ben One Eye says, or you can refuse to look up to evil. This is true.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that if Hollywood is just going to put out crap that, and let's be real, it does appeal to people. If it didn't, we wouldn't be arguing about how awesome Danny thinks that this episode is. And I'm not picking on Danny for saying that, because there are definitely awesome elements to it. However, we also need to figure out, if you're producing this stuff, stop producing stuff that glorifies evil.
Well, that's why we have to, the companies that put out that movie with Caviezel in it, where he was that dude, that Ballard guy that helped.
Angel, whatever Studios.
Angel Studios, I think is what.
Yeah.
So they need to do more. I don't know. Hopefully.
Well,
that's a whole other subject.
The thing is companies like that are trying to do stuff, but that's like the independent comic books that are still putting out kids appropriate stuff. It's few and far in between. We need the mainstream companies to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the advice of our viewer here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the ads. I wish I knew where they were in this list, because this list has 8 million things. Hey, Critic Mittens ad. Okay, so I found one.
That's your least favorite one, by the way.
Oh, good. Well, then we'll play that one. Go pee in a bucket or whatever.
Oh, but you can also set it up by talking about today's sponsor, Criticalist.
Hello, Blaine Andrews.
So, yeah, Criticalist. Criticalist is a website created by Blaine, who is this dorky gentleman right here in this picture, and he's going to tell you about how awesome Criticalist is.
Hello, Blaine Andrews here, local business owner and critic enthusiast. Are these critics constantly clickety-clanking around on their keyboard? Are their terrible reviews driving you crazy? Is your critic clawing away at the very fabrics of society with their terrible opinions? Think there's no answer? You're so stupid. There is! Critic Mittens. Finally, there's an elegant, comfortable mitten for critics. I didn't hear a thing. Is your critic one-armed or have fat sausage fingers, a skinny bird-like physique, or just no fingers at all? That doesn't matter because one size fits all. Critic Mittens, you'll be smitten. So come on down to criticlist.com. We're the home of the original Critic Mittens. And how? Download on Android, Apple, or maybe just visit the interwebs today because it's an app. You download it because it's an app, but it's a website too.
There you go. So Critic List, in a nutshell, is movie reviews, TV show reviews, etc., that are not put up by professional critics. It's put up by amateur critics like me and Danny. And
yes,
so,
and another really awesome feature you seem to always forget about, it's my favorite feature, is it's got like this social media type of feel, kind of, but without all the virtue signaling, because they have what's called a water cooler. So like, let's say we leave a review about, we've left all the reviews about Star Trek, right? So in fact, here's something cool we could do. I'm going to share my screen for a second. Is that okay? Can you handle or do I need to?
You know how to do it.
Okay, so I'm going to share, add to, okay, everybody can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is the feed. So these are people that I follow and the latest reviews that they've done. And then I also have like a profile. So I go to my profile. Now I haven't had a job until recently, get my first paycheck tomorrow. So I'm probably going to pay for the service that Salty pays for. So I have like the people I really want to be, like I have lots of followers or not lots, but I have 25 followers. I'm following 20 people, and the friends with benefits are people that you choose that you kind of want to keep, a constant eye on, or friends you want to highlight or something like that.
Right.
So let's go to yours, because yours is a paid for one. So see how he can pick a different background, and his reviews can include the video embedded right there in the review. So for example, we did this Plan 9 from Outer Space watch along because it was, what do they call that? Creative Commons or whatever?
Yeah. Well, not public domain.
Public domain. And
even though some jerk kept flagging us.
But you know what? We beat it, and this video is still live on YouTube. You can go back and watch it if you missed it. Right. But this psychopath gave this movie a 100%. Can you believe that?
It's because it's freaking awesome.
You're crazy, man.
It's the best bad movie ever made.
So mine, if you take a look, let's see, we've got Nemesis. This is pretty accurate. I gave it a 30. It was a shit-tastic movie. But you can see I have the free version. I put the link, but it doesn't embed it. Now you can still click on it and go check it out. But I think I'm going to upgrade now after I get paid, to the paid tier. But it's pretty cool. And then each movie has something called, like I was saying, like a water cooler. But you probably want to go to a more popular movie to see if people are or a newer movie.
Just the Fall Guy that just came out.
Fall Guy. Let's see. So we've got. Oh, I went to the guy's channel. Whoops. So I click on the movie to go to okay. So right now this has got 8 people have voted on it. None of my friends with benefits. I haven't seen this yet. So, it gives you a little lowdown on the crew, the cast. It's kind of cool. Overall, like the themes that these guys focus on: language, violence, nudity, political bias, family friendly. And, like IMDb, it's got different images and different videos that go along with it. So this is what's called the conversation. And that's like the feed for it, the
right. So that's the conversation specifically about that movie. So
these are these are the reviews, right? So then if you click on water cooler, now some people, this one just came out, but this one it only has one. But people go in there and they actually chat with each other about the movie.
Yeah, I can't believe you liked it. You're an idiot.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's I like the whole. I like that aspect of it too. It's interactive, fun. You win. You can. They gamify it a little bit. You can win badges for doing. Like if you do the first review of a movie nobody's done before, you get a badge. Once you hit a certain amount of reviews, you get badges. So it's cool.
We don't need no stinking badges.
But yeah, criticlist.com. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Did you? Are we pretty much done? We're gonna wait till the final episode to give a grade. So
right, yeah, because it's doesn't make sense to grade a serialized show at this point.
All right, so now the review that most everybody's been waiting for, since we are a very Trek-centric channel, and that is, what did we think of the latest episode of Discovery Season 5, Whistlespeak?
Whistlespeak.
Yeah.
Whistle while you speak. So, Danny, I'm based on the thumbnail, I'm going to think that you hated it.
You know, it was god-awful for a multitude of reasons. But, you know, I'm starting to see like a common thread with the people in charge of making the special effects and the sound and the overall look of the show. Clearly, I mean, the Whistlespeak is just R2-D2. Can we all agree on that? That's all that was, right? Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like Star Wars.
It sounded like
droids.
R2-D2 to me.
It sounded like Star Wars droids pretty hard. Like I thought it was blatant.
I never got that vibe from it.
Wow, the whole time, that's all I could think of. Somebody am I crazy? Somebody in the chat.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, I can kind of hear it, but when you mention it, but I just didn't think of it when
it was bugging me every single time it come. I was just like, wow, really? Like, because R2, okay, cool. And then, you know, can we get any more in your face? In fact, yeah, Stanley. And I had a conversation on Twitter.
Don't get me started on that, because this was the gender episode.
Yeah. So then and my mom calls me, points out something where the dad refers to what I thought was a daughter as a they.
Yes.
And I didn't catch that at first.
I caught that right away.
So did my mom, right?
Yeah.
So this is just them doubling down on their mediocrity.
Wait, I didn't want to. Do you mean they, them? What do you mean?
Exactly. It's a plural possessive pronoun. Gosh darn it! It's not. I'm malfunctioning. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It was so funny. Is right after. I can't remember if it was one of the scenes on the bridge with Adira or on the planet with the daughter, but right after someone referred to them as they, then she said, well, we think that, and I'm like, wait, when you say we, do you just mean you? I think it was Adira on the bridge that said it. Like, well, we think that the blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, who's we? Is we like you and the engineering team, or is we just you? Because you're a they, which
see, there's the mental gymnastics I have to do. I think you're right. Instead of saying I, which is a singular possessive pronoun, that person that goes by they, them would have to refer to themselves as a we, right? This is too complicated.
It doesn't make any sense. And so, I'm sorry.
Pick a lane. We're not transphobes at all. Pick a lane. I got tons of respect for.
Yeah, there are. Look. There are two genders, and yes, there are people that suffer from, the body. What's it called again? Body dysphoria. Where they genuinely believe that they are the gender other than the one that they are biologically. We
just blew my mother's brain with the whole thing.
Yeah. I see that. So look, I have no problem with people who are trans. And in fact, I know it sounds cheesy to say this. When I was a kid, I knew a dude that used to be a woman, but I always just thought he was a dude, right? That's just what he was to me, and I would always call him he. Even though, yes, he was born a she.
I don't
care about that. I'm not trying to fight you on that. But yeah, people that want to say, well, I'm non-binary because I don't want to identify as shut up.
Well, no, hold up. So then can't we just refer to them as it?
Oh, no, because that would be insulting.
It'd be a whole lot less confusing, or just make up a new pronoun. Dude, I went on a tirade about this.
I'm not calling someone an it, okay? There are two genders. You might be a woman even though you have
you're doubling down on your stance. I'm actually still...
I'm not backing off. There are two genders.
Okay, all right.
Humans are sexual binary, as are every mammal. And so, hey, Daniel.
Daniel, hold up. That thing, yeah, Daniel, real quick. You messaged me. You were talking about Spider-Man, right? You can just let me know in the chat. I'm pretty sure that's what you were talking about. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, and so when they go out of their way, like, okay, so like in the 20 or 32nd century or whatever, every third person is going to be some kind of other gender. Or now we have a species that has three distinct. I love they said, oh, they have three gender identities. Like that makes them more progressive in some way.
Dude. That see, okay. I don't know how the algorithm works with the words.
Oh, we'll
on
get
the
in
YouTube
trouble
thumbnail.
for it.
So I didn't. No, what I'm saying is I didn't want to put the word that I wanted to put. That's why I used mediocrity. You know what I mean? So it's just they really are doubling down on this woke bullshit. That
Right.
doesn't have any place in my Star Trek. So my hot take is this is hot garbage. And I'm mad at you again for making me watch it, 1. And 2, I'm really mad that just a couple weeks ago, I allowed this show to give me hope. And that's on me. That's my fault. I allowed it to give me hope. And I should have known better.
But, and this is the important thing, all right? You have to admit, it was freaking awesome to see Tilly running a marathon and winning. Again,
not just winning, going back to help the other person cross the finish line.
Yes,
with her together. So not only did she win, she helped somebody else win too.
Yeah, she helped they across.
Yes. The whole I didn't pick up on that. I'm sorry, and I'll feel even worse if you could tell me this actor is a male actor.
I don't know.
I thought it was a girl. I thought it was a girl the whole time. I thought it was a daughter.
I thought this episode was derivative of other. It's basically because. Okay, so aliens left tech that these guys worship, and that's been done before. We have to do some kind of endurance test. That's been done before.
Daniel, that's what you sent me in Discord. I think you're confused, friend. Spider-Man.
Yeah, Daniel, we watched it. Yeah, we know. Spider-Man, Omega Red, Doctor Doom, Baron Zemo.
This is what you get for being late, Daniel.
Yeah, we talked all about it.
Just rewind, buddy. Play it double speed. You'll catch up. It's fine.
So we have this was, in my opinion, the weakest episode of this season by a long shot.
Oh, not just weakest. To me, anyway, the most offensive. Now, not as offensive as what we reviewed yesterday, mind you, but this was offensive on a Star Trek level for me. This was an offensively bad episode.
I don't know that I would go offensive.
It was offensively bad.
I don't appreciate them trying to insert because look,
not even that, just that. Oh, hold up. There's a whole score.
Right, but I want to point this out because this is what I really found annoying about the they them thing.
And you really did just skip all the way to the end of this episode.
Well, we'll go back if you want.
I'm fine with never forget I said anything.
So, wait on the Adira. Being a they them was established last season, or actually the season before, I think. And I'm okay with that because she had this whole experience with the Trill and all that, and in a sense I could see how she might be that way, but they also established the character as being that in this series before. Yeah. But then for this to be the first time this season that they go out of their way to point out that she is a they, and then immediately on the planet they beam down to, there's another they.
Well, that's because they want to display the whole 3 gender thing. They got 3 genders.
But the problem is that wait, so you're telling me that because this is, bad writing in a nutshell, is that if you had been calling her they at least once per episode this whole season, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. But the fact that you open up the episode making sure to, it's like it was almost like, what's his name? Rayner. It was almost like he was looking right at the camera saying, remember, she's a they. And then 20 minutes later, you find out that one of the people on the planet is a they. And only 5 minutes later, they say, oh, wow, it's amazing. They have 3 genders.
I was giving Daniel a hard time earlier. I think he's the smartest guy here. Read this. He's the smartest guy here.
Well,
because he didn't watch this. Don't watch Discovery. Don't.
No, you know what? I'm still not hating the season. I just did not. This episode was crap. I know that you.
I would literally not be watching anymore if we weren't.
Well,
doing it for this show.
That's because you didn't even watch it last season. So.
I didn't watch it last season. You're right. Yeah.
But you see, I'm a real Star Trek fan, and so I will watch even bad Star Trek. So
this is what I say, Stanley, and this is because when I was in a charity, somebody that I knew previously as a female, I hadn't seen in a couple years until I was in this new charity. And I was introduced to this person with a different name and that they were non-binary and to be sure to refer to. I was told all this before I met the person. And then when I met the person, I already knew this person, but I knew this person years ago and hadn't seen them since they transitioned to non-binary. And so I would keep screwing up and referring to that person as she. So I just started doing this trick here. Just use the new name.
But you know what? Here's and look. This you actually said something just now that is part of my problem with it, because I do, and I talked about this on a church live stream not too long ago.
Okay.
I don't think it's a coincidence. When we talked about the perfect world scenario, which is an argument atheists use, is why didn't God just make the world perfect, right? And why do we have to deal with the problem of evil? And one of my answers is that, well, would life, if everything was perfect and wonderful, then perfect and wonderful would be mundane. It would be boring. It would be absolutely, life would feel pointless, because you cannot experience joy and happiness without hardship and struggle. It's simply not possible. If you've never struggled in your life, you are bored. And all you have to do is look at the wealthiest people to know that's true.
So in other words, you're saying that pain.
Don't
carry with
shut
us.
your face.
The things that make us who we are.
Shut your effing mouth,
if we
or
lose
I
them,
will
we lose
kick you
ourselves.
off this show.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain. Is that what you're saying?
And so and by the way, and this is something I pointed out, statistics bear me out on this, is that suicide is much more prevalent in wealthier affluent households than poor. And it's more prevalent in wealthier, more affluent countries than third world. Also, interestingly enough, is things like people calling themselves they, them, and shme and all that crap.
I'm gonna have to insist that you cite your sources, sir, because I don't know. This is hearsay without sources. So
shut up! I didn't come here prepared to debate. If we were having a formal debate on the subject, I would have them ready, but we're not. But it is true though. And Ben, it's not about religion. That's Stan. That was wrong.
That was funny though.
It was funny, but it was wrong. Don't make me go back and start playing clips of her running the marathon, because I will do that.
Oh God.
So. It's bad enough that in, what was it, season 2, she not only won the marathon, but she set a new record or whatever, and now it's like, I'm sorry, Michael Burnham can't take anymore, but Tilly's raring to go for more. No, that's, I'm sorry. Mary Wiseman, you're a fine actress. I don't have and there are times when Tilly can be an endearing character, but she ain't no marathon runner.
So we're just alienating everybody in this stream today. I just, we're being transphobic.
But
we're being
we're not being transphobic. We might be non-binary phobic at best.
We're fat shaming. We're being non-binary all these are in quotes, by the way. I don't think that we are. I'm just saying, talking about this stuff is
right. But it's not a coincidence that these types of things occur in more affluent areas than non. Because you know why you have all these people want to say, oh, I'm non-binary now and I'm they, them. And so it's because they want something to fight. They need something to struggle for. And so now, since, gays have equal rights, but trans.
It's like I said, it's the things that make us who we are. If we lose them, we lose ourselves.
Will you stop citing Star Trek 5? Sorry. We will end this stream if you keep citing Star Trek 5. So yeah, there we go. There's a shot for you. Look at that marathon running form.
Come on, stop piling. Like you were telling people not to do this last week.
I'm not making fun of her.
You kind of are. Yeah.
Well, my problem is that they're saying that this is the most athletic person on the ship.
I 100. I was saying this already. Annoying in the first episode. I said that that should have been the last time we saw her.
And Tilly with a $1 super tip.
Super tip.
As I'm going to beat Usain Bolt next. I am the endurance running champion. Yes, indeed. So Usain Bolt, watch out. Tilly's coming. No, but look. Here's my problem. I don't believe that you should just make fun of Mary Wiseman because she's gained weight. I don't. I genuinely do not.
I don't think.
However, I think that for the producers of the show to say, okay, we're going to make this species all about running a marathon.
Oh my God. Is that a pun? She has grown past the part?
Yes, you didn't get that.
I'm so stupid. Okay.
Yeah. So to have a situation where the aliens have this athletic competition that revolves around running, and to put her as the one to win the race is stupid and laughable. Because there's no way that a person with that physique is going to win a marathon, period.
Okay, let's get off of that. Let's talk about this. Thomas Potts says, this episode was boring. Not only is it boring, it's pointless. Let me challenge you this. Was anything accomplished for our overall goal with this episode?
Yes, they did get the next clue.
Really, though?
Yeah, they got the next clue.
Oh, they're going back out in space. They're doing the exact same thing they were doing at the end of the last episode. I guarantee you. I bet you if you next week.
Well, I
bet you this episode could be completely plucked out, and you'd not lose any of the narrative whatsoever.
Well, you wouldn't lose any of the narrative except that you just have to throw in some dialogue saying, "Well, that was fun. We got that next clue. Now we're off to to get." I mean,
you wouldn't even have to do that. They're literally doing the exact same thing they were doing at the end of last episode.
No, dude.
The exact same thing.
No. Look, you see, you're not paying attention. Then they did get the next piece of the puzzle by doing their little fetch quest on this planet. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
How much of that was actually Captain, in the episode, though?
That's the problem. Is that if Tilly, the scenes with Tilly's compassion were actually pretty good. And so if it was a non-athletic competition, or at least not a running race, right? If they did something that Tilly could realistically do, And it was something like you just had to take this thing and endure being super duper thirsty and holding a bowl of water and walking from point to point. And everybody just couldn't take it because they were so thirsty. And that last girl, was tripped and spilt the water and said, you can't cross the finish line without water. And so Tilly shared her water and all. That could have been a beautiful thing. But to have it be at the end of a marathon made it laughable. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now this one. I want you to address this point from Ben One Eye.
Yeah. How are Mac and Lowell getting their hands on it? Okay, so I assume you mean Locke and Maul. But I like that.
Again with the jabs about her weight. Wizards. Yeah. Come on, man.
But look.
Of course, I'm the one that put it on screen, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're encouraging them. Stop.
Yeah.
So I think that, they Dude, stop putting stuff up on the screen like that.
That's terrible. Oh, my God. Oh, I got soda all over me. Oh, God, that's terrible.
That was Stan. You should be timed out for that one.
Oh, God. Again, I put it on the screen, but that was too funny.
All right, no more Tilly comments unless in the form of a super chat. Anyway, you made me lose track. What was I talking about?
Oh, that was, I think, the point. But Annoying Critic has something positive to say about.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's why. So I think the compassion moments were really strong. I liked that. What I don't like about Sonequa Martin Green's thing is that I thought her performance was really good, but at the end there was really no repercussions for her violating the Prime Directive.
Especially for them to have made such a big deal out of it.
Right. And so if they're going to make this into a Prime Directive episode, because they did mention that early, that this was a Prime...
I had to make sure I read this one first, because his last one was anyway. But this is a good point. And we know they have it because we saw it in Picard Season 3 in the Section 31 Museum.
Well, the Genesis device is nothing compared to progenitor tech.
Right.
So we don't know, I mean, how powerful the progenitor tech is going to be and like what it'll do and blah, blah, blah.
This was a waste of time episode. Like anybody on the fence, if you haven't seen this episode, completely skippable. You won't miss any of the story. That's it. It's that simple. Don't waste your time.
Now, I also think
we watched it, so you don't have to.
I think Dr. Culver had a little bit of good character growth.
Well, you would, because he basically, kind of came around to spirituality versus science.
That's actually, you see, the science versus spirituality thing. On the planet, you had people worshiping what ended up just being tech. And on the ship, you have a guy trying to figure out the tech behind something that's spiritual. And so I thought that was actually an interesting idea to do that as the A and B plot. But they didn't spend enough time on Culver's story to really make them feel like they're trying to parallel.
Yes, but Kirk got in trouble quite a bit. He got admonished. We had a whole episode where he was on trial.
And I will, what? I will say this, Annoying Critic. Kirk did not violate the Prime Directive.
Uh-oh. See, I'd rather have that conversation than talk about this shit episode.
You tell me one time Kirk violated the Prime Directive. Anything? I can't see the chat. I don't know if anybody's got it.
Oh, well, whenever something comes up, I'll post it. Yeah. You don't have to wait for the question to be answered. I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So I think that the compassion stuff was good. They had to get through the puzzle to the what's-its to get to the next piece of tech. And I would have written in an explanation for why she didn't violate the Prime Directive, in that the storm system generator was already was already alien interference, and they were just trying to fake it.
Brian has this.
Okay, Kirk giving his buddies flintlocks against the Klingons. Okay, that was not a violation of the Prime Directive. The reason is that the tribes, the hill people and the village people, were all both fully aware of the Federation, Starfleet, and the Klingon Empire before Kirk came to the planet.
And Thomas Potts makes this good point.
They were simply it was the Klingons were already arming the village people, so the Federation started arming the hill people to balance things.
Same episode we're talking about Captain Morani. Yeah. And
but
Wizards.
The more important thing is, remember, that when they quote the Prime Directive in Bread and Circuses, they talk about the fact that the big thing about the Prime Directive is that you do not reveal the existence of other worlds, of the Federation, of all that.
Okay,
however,
critic
Tyree and his we'll talk about the apple, but Tyree and his people in Private Little War were already well aware of the Federation. The Federation had so whoever violated the Prime Directive or possibly made contact before the Prime Directive even existed. So there was already a relationship there. All right, so moving on to the apple. The apple is the strongest argument you could make for a Prime Directive violation, except, and this is the beauty of that episode, Spock and McCoy hash it out, and then Kirk makes the executive decision. And the argument from Spock was trying to argue in favor of non-interference. And he said that the people were happy and healthy and all that. McCoy was saying, but these people are servicing a machine. And Kirk came down with, this is a stagnant civilization that is stuck worshiping this technology. This is not, what they did not interfere with the natural evolution of these people. And so there was no violation.
All right, so how about this one from Annoying Critic?
Return of the Archons. Again, same kind of thing as the as Tyree. The Archons was from the USS Archon. And so the Enterprise's mission was to determine what happened to the crew of the Archons. The Landru was already well aware of the Federation, well aware of Starfleet, and prepared for them. So,
right, so Wizards has this one for you.
Taste of Armageddon, Kirk messed with 2 planets. That's actually a good one, except that, and again, Kirk, I don't think Kirk ever violated the Prime Directive. Kirk was under direct orders from a Starfleet ambassador who was on the ship to make contact. It was not Kirk's call. In fact, Kirk wanted to stay away. However, even if you wanted to say that there was a violation, here's the other problem. When they were approaching Amini 7, guess what? They got a signal from the planet using a specific code warning them not to approach under any circumstances, which means they were already aware of Federation protocol for approaching planets.
Which Thomas Potts kind of illustrates with his comments here. All right, that was a fun little detour.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know me and TOS.
Oh yeah. No, that's why I'm just sitting.
It's going to be tough for you to stump me when it comes to TOS. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be a challenge. As far as in-universe stuff, if you ask me who produced what episode, I'll probably go, I don't know. But or who wrote the episode or something, I only know a few. But you ask me in-universe questions about TOS, or try to challenge my assertions about it, it's going to be tough to get me.
Okay, Aravik, that one doesn't count because that's the J.J. Abrams verse. I'm not talking. That doesn't count.
And by the way, that one was a violation, and Kirk got busted for it.
Yeah, that is true. So I guess it just kind of feeds
Kirk lost the captaincy over it. However, he got it back 10 minutes later. But yeah, Kirk. That one was a genuine violation, but I'm talking about TOS William Shatner, the Captain Kirk. not the pseudo Kirk who was given the keys to the Enterprise by his dad.
Basically, yeah. Which you can check out our review of Star Trek 2009 on either of our channels if you're so inclined. And I've actually made a playlist of all of our Star Trek movie reviews on my channel if you want to check that out.
Of course. You wouldn't want to include my channel, you jerk.
I will never mention my channel again as soon as I hit enough subscribers to monetize it, because I have the watch hours. So I've had the channel for almost a decade.
No, but the watch hours have to be in a 30-day span, I believe.
Oh, that figures. Well,
yeah.
I'll worry about that when I get some organic numbers.
And
I don't want to do like LD and pay for it, because I saw what he did, and I could just pay for it. You know.
Yeah, you could. Don't get me started about that. And by the way, Captain, so it's talking about how he likes that Kirk didn't treat the Prime Directive like religious dogma. Actually, he kind of did. Look at oh gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the episode. The Omega Glory. He was, ready to. I mean, he tried to arrest Captain Tracy, and he talked about the fact that a starship captain would give up his life and his crew before violating the Prime Directive. Kirk did take it very seriously. It's just that every
what is all this crap? I think you're right. You know how like everybody's like Kirk's a horn dog, and you point out
but
like
he's
in
not.
the 2000 right. You point out now the 2009 Kirk is, and just like the 2009 Kirk doesn't. You know what I mean? Like they really killed Kirk. The more that I think, the more that we talk about it after the fact.
Character assassination. Kirk got totally canceled for no reason.
Yeah.
Kirk, and that's one of the reasons I love TOS so much. Kirk was a genuine hero.
Yeah, and we even talked about that in our review of Star Trek III: The Search for Spock with the whole Klingon thing, and that goes back into the heroes talk that we had in the X-Men '97 discussion. Remember,
right.
It's very, very similar topics. And Daniel, thank you. I try to avoid other X-Men reviews or things like that until after we've done ours. But I'll check that out. So thank you, because I do like New Rockstars. So thank you for sending me that. I'll check it out.
New Rockstars is all right. They're a little too. I'll just say they never say anything bad about anything. They're always,
Well, they might just be like Kevin Smith and only watch the shit they like. But sometimes I get you, man. Sometimes I've seen a couple.
Yeah,
things
but they'll be like,
really,
and I love the tie-in to Star Trek Discovery. Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, so back to this crap fest. So they get the piece of the puzzle, and after they find out that the whole point of the contest was to see who gets to die, and
that was a little twist at the end for Tilly.
Yeah, so it's like, wait a minute, I didn't want to die. And so they managed to fix it, and
by breaking the Prime Directive without any type of
right now. This was a violation of the Prime Directive because you had a pre-warp civilization that did not know about the existence of Starfleet, didn't even know that this was alien technology until Burnham explained it to them, and. Since Burnham had already corrected the storm device, she should have come up with some excuse as to why she was able to teleport in, and then say that, she knew how to pray to the gods to get them to fix the rain, and so nobody needed to die anymore.
So I don't want you ignoring Thomas. Read this.
What was the piece of the puzzle? Well, the funny thing is, at the end of the day, they got the piece of the puzzle off screen because, they're in tower number 3 and the puzzle piece is in tower 5 or whatever.
So exactly, you could pluck this entire episode out and not miss anything because it happened off screen any damn way. Thank you, Thomas.
Did I not say this was the worst episode of the season?
Hey, this could be a fun game. Check this out from Brian.
If Berman was the next one, she would be the Phoenix, obviously. Except she would never become Dark Phoenix because she's so awesome.
Are you saying that because of the Red Angel thing, or just because?
No, just because she's Michael Burnham.
Because she's Michael Burnham. Okay.
Yeah. No, if Burnham were an X-Men, what would her superpower be? I don't know, because Burnham is not an X-Men, right?
Well,
if Sonequa Martin Green were going to play an X-Men, the obvious choice would be Storm. And
no. Character, not the actor.
But the character Michael Burnham as a mutant, I don't know, because the thing is, you could give her literally any power you wanted to. You know.
Daniel's copy and pasted this a couple times, so I guess that means he really wants me to put it up.
Please cite your sources that Rich can use a moose suicide. Dude, you can look it up yourself.
Well, he's saying that, and then that, and I'm just doing this because he's copied and pasted that a few times in my channel. Yeah. So there we go.
Please don't copy and paste your comments. That's enough.
No, I got. So there you go. I got it in there. He says do your own research, which is called deflecting. So you're probably right, Daniel. If this were a debate tournament, he would lose that argument in the judges column thingy. So we're good there. And yes, Stanley, the clue is in another tower that all took place off screen. So it is what it is.
Okay.
Stanley says.
Okay, here, hold on. Shut up for a minute. Okay. National Institute of Health.gov. The most educated group, and by implication, those with higher incomes, had the greatest increased risk of unnatural death, and the largest category of unnatural death was suicide. Can I drop the mic? There you go. And by the way, that is serious. That is the real number. If you know,
it's not a national suicide line. I'm sorry, but
but I'm just saying, if you're struggling with substance abuse or something like that, you should call that number. However, yes, it is real. That's a real study. Right?
Hey, speaking of that topic,
so there's my source, National Institute of Health, which is a government agency.
Okay, good. So it wasn't even a super chat, Daniel, and you got your question answered. And so 59 days sober. Do I get my chip tomorrow?
I'm excited. Are you going to show it off on
Hell yeah.
next Wednesday's stream?
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. I am.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
All right, so they get their little doodad and leave the planet. And
that's kind of the point. Like, this is Daniel, you and I could have a whole show about this.
No, Daniel, that's the thing. Rich people aren't happier.
Everybody just thinks they are because of money. Money doesn't buy happiness.
That's the thing. Poor people aspire to be rich because they think that if life had no struggle, then life would be great. The interesting thing is that that's true if you start out poor and become rich. It's not true if you're born into wealth.
Damn, look at this from Annoying Critic. I think he's got you on this one.
Which Pike didn't do in Strange New Worlds. But that episode of Strange New Worlds was brutal.
Yeah.
But you know what? Pike followed the Prime Directive as much as he didn't want to.
Yeah, but Burnham didn't. She didn't get in trouble, and Pike had to let little kids die.
Yeah, well,
Thanks, Arabic. I appreciate that.
But Pike's got the hair. I like Burnham's braids, but Pike's got the hair.
Am I the only one that thinks that looks like dog food, like HelloFresh dog food or something?
It kind of does, but it also looks kind of tasty.
All right. Looks like.
I mean, I don't even know what that is. It looks like it's like some kind of ground beef thing with chicken nuggets on top, but it looks good to me. And so, and again, I like Book and Culver's. Their relationship deepened a little bit here, and I kind of liked it. I like Culver's spiritual growth stuff, but they didn't spend enough time on it. And so, see, there they are with the last piece of the latest piece of the proverbial pie.
Totally, yeah. Okay.
And we'll find out.
How much time is left in the episode at this mark right here?
Oh, we're just about done.
No. I'm just curious. I'm just saying, like, what, like,
15 seconds.
Jesus Christ! This whole episode, you can pluck this whole episode out. They can throw 5 seconds of this 15-second clip
Anyway,
in the next episode.
The one thing that doesn't make sense to me is that the setup at the end of this episode to lead into next episode is they have the coordinates of Mullen Lock's ship, and so Discovery is ordered to jump and assist the other starship. And yes, Discovery still has the floating nacelles, which are stupid, but they're going to assist the other starship in apprehending Mull and Locke. Why? Because Discovery has the clues on it. Why would you want Discovery anywhere near those people? If anything, you should send other warp-capable ships to assist, and Discovery should continue on their mission while Mull and Locke have no idea where they are. So, I mean, I know it's so that whatever the finale can happen, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then I gotta say, I do kind of like the closing shot here. So, there's so they only got 2 pieces of the puzzle to go. But this shot here, while I still think Discovery is an ugly ship, I think this is a nice shot.
R2.
Yeah. So, and that's it. There's a nice shot from the marathon for you.
What did that say? I dedicate this work to the girl.
That was from that fan video because it started to replay from the beginning.
Okay.
So yeah. Final thoughts on this episode?
I've given it. This is 0. This is a total shit fest. It's a total waste of time. You could pluck it out and not miss anything.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
I agree. This episode was craptastic at best.
Yeah.
So it's which is unfortunate. I'm hoping that next week's episode gets back to what they were doing well. Yes, the spore drive. They're the only starship with the spore drives, which makes them the fastest ship in the universe. And a $5 super chat.
Super chat. And
from
amen, annoying critic.
Absolutely
yes.
Annoying critic. That is one. That's why I love Kirk.
Testify.
Kirk is a true hero. He
not the Chris Pine Kirk.
Yeah. We're talking William Shatner here, not Chris Pine. He does the right thing. When Kirk violates the rules, it's because there's a moral imperative to do so. He doesn't violate the rules just because he doesn't think the rules matter. When Janeway broke the Prime Directive to get her people home, she was violating the rules selfishly. Kirk would not do that. And so Kirk and Kirk has made some tough choices that resulted in people dying, and he always has to second guess himself when that happens. And Aravic saying Kirk is a jerk.
We got another super chat.
Yeah. I gotta disagree with you there, Aravic. I don't think Kirk is a jerk.
Yeah, I know, Mom. That's my whole point of contention with this episode. They didn't show it. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, Aravic, I gotta disagree with you though. And Aravic says, "Just kidding, love Kirk." Good.
Good.
Yeah, you better. What do you think about Kirk?